What's up, YouTube? What is happening? So we got the standard wide body by Moerman, we got the Liquidator wide body, and I haven't really spoke on either one of them, so I'm gonna do so now. I've been using obviously the Liquidator, and I got them both at the same time. I've been using them both for the same amount of time. It's been months. And, you know, you guys know, like, before I started using Moerman again, I, used all Sorbo. And I was pretty much sold on the wide body channels. The only downfall was, the Liquidator was really the champion of detail-free window cleaning, and I had a big emphasis on that. You know what I mean? I've told you guys in my past videos, if you guys have been around for any amount of time, you guys know that I always push efficiency, right? What's more efficient? Getting perfect results or being able to wipe out a window in 2 swipes using a large squeegee. Both are efficient. I will say, out of all of the window cleaning tools out there, I'd say Moerman and Sorbo at the large end of the spectrum. When it comes to the large squeegees, are the most efficient. Now, with a Sorbo 18-inch, I can do the same exact thing with an 18-inch Ninja or an Atori. At that point, you're just kind of, you're just choosing your favorite brand at that point. You know what I mean? And now you can add Moerman to the list. With the Moerman standard wide body. You know what I mean? They're general squeegees. You know what I mean? But the thing I've always loved about them is the weight of them. You know what I mean? A wide body, you don't have to put as much emphasis on the squeegee, especially coming down like your sides. You let the weight of the channel do all the brunt of the work. You know what I mean? It's just it's a different feel than the standard. With the standard, I have a specific amount of pressure that I put when I'm coming down the sides and when I'm going across the top. When it comes to those edges, I'm putting a certain amount of like heaviness on my pole. Now, when it comes to the wide body Liquidator, it's a completely different animal. And I was using the same amount of pressure that I was with the standard, and I was kind of like leaving water behind, and I was struggling with it a little bit, right? And then a little bit more and a little bit more, I was fine-tuning my technique, and every time I used it, I was getting better and better results. So finally, I realized, let me ease up on it a little bit. It's a big channel. It's a 24-inch channel. Let me ease up on it a bit, and let me allow the weight of the channel to do the work like I would with a normal wide body. And the squeegee that was given to me, the clips were straight. The Moerman clips were like straight out, and I really didn't like that because it really didn't put any pressure on the ends of the squeegee. It kind of defeated the purpose. So I had to put a little bit of bend into it and really get it to give me that, Liquidator 3.0 feel. And, that's what I'm hoping, that when the wide body's released in the US, that they got the Liquidator clips fine-tuned. You know what I mean? I haven't bought it straight out the box from the store yet, so I don't know what I'm getting, when that time comes. And that's my only concern. You know what I mean? If the final product is, the same amount of pressure, because it's just as important with the standard as it is with the wide body, that you have proper pressure on the ends of your squeegee rubber. If you don't, you're not going to get detail-free results, and that defeats the purpose of a liquidator. The purpose of the liquidator is to get detail-free results. Now, I've been using the flick pad, the wide body flick pad with the 14-inch standard. It works amazing. And I've been saying, what's it gonna feel like with the wide body, and now I know. And I actually prefer it. I've been using it every single day. I prefer the wide body, honestly, over the standard, because I don't have to do as much work. I let the weight of the channel do the work for me, and all you got to do once you get it is you just like everything, you got to get into the rhythm, and you got to fine tune it, and you got to figure out like what works best to get the results that you need. But it's not a big learning curve. It's just there is a learning curve. If you go into it thinking you don't have a learning curve, then you've already lost the battle. You need to go into it and say, this is not going to be exactly how my standard squeegee is going to work. And if you go into it with that mindset, knowing that you're just going to have to feel out the tool and get into the flow with it, you're eventually gonna hit that peak performance, and that's where I'm at now. And that's why I hadn't said anything, because I was like, I think I'm speaking too soon. You know what I mean? I needed time with it. I needed to use it in hand, use it on the pole, really get a feel for what I was doing. And now I've got it all dialed in. So, that video, I'll make a video using both. I'll do a long form video using both of them, showing you guys like how I sort of changed my technique a little bit to get the best results, and understanding your angles, all the same stuff that you would do with your standard Moerman liquidator. So, in my opinion, after working with it for months now, and now I'm getting like flawless results, especially up high and things like that. Like, I used to like doing my straight pulls with a Black Mamba. Now that I have the standard Moerman with the flick pad, my workflow is just speeding up. I don't have to like pull, like, it just, everything is starting to work like a fine-tuned machine. So that's really the only pointers I have for you guys, as far as just go into it with the mindset of, I'm gonna have to get comfortable with this tool. That's it. If you do that, you're gonna be fine. If you go into it like, with the wrong mindset, I think the same with any tool. You try a new tool, if you might not like it at first because you're not used to it, you're just not accustomed to it. But as you continue to evolve with the tool and work with the tool, you'll like anything in your arsenal, you'll be able to clean with it and get the results that you want. So stay tuned. We're gonna do the soap review videos on like the 3 different, I'm gonna do those next week, because they're all in storage, and I have like weights and like heavy, my pressure washer and heavy equipment blocking things, so I gotta pull everything out to get to it. So just bear with me. I'm gonna have more content out over the weekend though, and then next week I'll hit you with the soap videos. So we're back. All right, guys, see you on the glass.